Welcome to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing, founder of the Reiki Business Collective and creator of the Build Your Reiki Business program, sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business. Greetings, welcome, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing, and I am grateful to have you here. So thank you so much. In this episode, we're talking about artificial intelligence. AI for your Reiki business. Now, AI is a controversial topic right now, of course, as anything that is new. And as with anything that is new, it is also a hot topic right now. And so there are indeed Reiki businesses who are using AI for their Reiki business. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, about the possibilities, and about how you may or may not want to use artificial intelligence for your Reiki business. So let's first define what I mean when I'm talking about artificial intelligence, because we have to admit that there are all different kinds of artificial intelligences out there. You know, things like the sensors on our outdoor lights when we come home at night that automatically come on. You know, we don't think of that as artificial intelligence, but in a way, it truly is. So I'm not talking about light sensors in this episode. I'm talking, of course, about things like ChatGPT, Bard, Jasper, and those kinds of AI tools. The AI that the world is all abuzz with right now about the tools that we can use to simplify our lives in terms of writing and in terms of brainstorming and idea generation and et cetera, et cetera. So what is the deal with these artificial intelligences? Well, you know, right now, when it comes to artificial intelligence, we are in the more rudimentary stages. And for some of us, when we use something like ChatGPT, we may think, well, there's nothing rudimentary about this at all. This is pretty freaking amazing. And yet at the same time, we have to acknowledge that as far as the evolution of artificial intelligence and where it is going, we are in its infancy. Of course, even if we take into consideration the long history of artificial intelligence, if we expand our notion of artificial intelligence. So, you know, Alexa and Siri have been around for a while, and those are a form of artificial intelligence as well. But it really, to me, is almost like if you are old enough to remember, and I don't know about you, but I sure am old enough to remember a time before the internet. And when the internet was just in its infancy. And you know, when you had dial up and you had to wait until the dial completed to get connected, and then you had to put a note on the phone that said, do not use on the internet. Or if someone picked up the phone, then you lost your internet connection. You know, it's so funny to think about, isn't it? How far we've come since those days. And, you know, those days are a part of my lifetime and probably a part of your lifetime as well. You know, the early 90s and into the mid 90s. And so, we can think, I think, of artificial intelligence in those kinds of ways. You know, perhaps we are in the dial-up phase of artificial intelligence right now. What I do believe is that artificial intelligence will be so big that we will not be able to ignore it, and that indeed it is going to have far-reaching effects. Now, We can say at this point, well, it's just not a good thing. It's a dangerous thing. It's a scary thing, this artificial intelligence. We just don't know what it can do. Well, yes, and the same could have been said and probably was said about the internet back in the early 90s. I mean, I don't remember. I was, a kid. I was a teenager at that time, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. But my guess is that there were probably some existential discussions about the internet at that time, as there are about artificial intelligence now. And so, all of this to say that we don't know what the future holds for this tool, but if it's anything like the internet, it is going to completely change our lives. Because I don't know about you, but the internet has completely changed my life. My life would be completely different if the internet never existed. And you probably could say the same thing. At the very least, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. And so let's admit that that technology has had such far reaching effects. And so too will AI as it evolves and develops. Again, I'm not here to argue for good or ill. Any tool is simply a tool, and it's how we use it. And so some might say that the internet has degraded society, and some might say that it has lifted society up. It's a tool, and it's all about how we use the tool. And so it's important for us to remember that artificial intelligence is itself a tool. And what really matters is how we use the tool. The tool itself is neutral. It's what we do with the tool that matters. And so too it is with artificial intelligence in our Reiki business. And so artificial intelligence, things like ChatGPT, which I'm positive that you have heard of by now. You can get a ChatGPT account for free. I will say that it took me a little bit of time to jump onto ChatGPT because they wanted your phone number, and I didn't like that. I did not like that idea. And so I did not give ChatGPT a try at first. And I went instead with Bard, which does not ask for your phone number, except it is a Google product, and Google does have my phone number, so there you go. But ChatGPT is a program in which you can chat. It's designed as a responsive text kind of a tool in which you talk to it. You can chat with it, and it will chat back to you. So it will respond back to you in a conversation oriented kind of way. Same thing with Bard. It will do the same thing as well. Now, Bard, I won't talk about the back end too much, but they actually are two different. They run on two. They work in two different ways in terms of the back end and the technology, but essentially they do the same thing, in which you ask it a question, ask it to do something for you, and it will spit out an answer. That answer isn't always accurate, and these products are, of course, still being refined, but it will give you a something as a response that you can hopefully, depending upon your question and what you need it for, use. So I'll talk about my experience in using these tools in my Reiki business. So I started with Bard. And my main reason for wanting to give AI a try was to take things like my YouTube transcripts and cut out all of the ums and uhs and turn them into nice readable text that I could then alter and use for posts or blog articles or what have you. And one of the things that's nice about Bard is that it is up to date. ChatGPT only has the capacity to know what's going on in the world up to 2021. So if you ask it a more current kind of a question or need more current information, it can't handle that. It's only up to 2021 that it has capacity. But Bard does not have that limitation. And so Bard can take a YouTube video and pull from it and summarize it. It can also take a website. So you can say, here's my website. Tell me about what's on this website. And it will summarize what's on the site. So Bard can do that more advanced kind of task. But Bard has its limitations too. So, for instance, I'll take one of my YouTube videos and I'll plug it into Bard and I'll say, Bard, please summarize this video for me. Now, you can take a transcript directly from YouTube. It's not hard. So I, of course, already have access to my own YouTube transcripts, but just curious to see what Bard is going to do with them. And so what Bard actually often says to me is, great, here's a summary of this video. And it names a video that is not the link I gave it, not my video, not a video I have ever heard of. Sometimes it's not even related at all. And then I say, no, Bard, that's the wrong video. This video, give it the link again. My apologies. And then it gives me a response that you are correct. Yes, that is the wrong video. Here is the video you asked for. No, still not the right video, Bard. So Bard absolutely does have its own limitations, and Google is still working on it for sure. But so that was the way in which I really envisioned using AI in my own Reiki business. The truth is I write all of my own stuff. I always have, and I plan to as well. Because to me, I believe it is important for us to write our own stuff. Even if we don't feel that we're the best writer, what really matters is that we are putting our own ideas, our own thoughts, our own energy out there in order to attract clients and potential clients, students, and people who resonate with what we have to say. And if we are sharing general text, then there's no heart in that. There's no energy in that. And I don't know about you, but I can kind of feel it. At least it seems to me. Now, I do think that, of course, the tools will get better. They will get better. They will get better. And for me, I still will do my own writing, and that is important to me. I think also when it comes to this idea of doing our own writing and showing up with our own energy, and maybe people being afraid that, well, I'm not a good writer. Well, if you write, you're going to get better. So if you do something, you're going to get better at it. And you might be thinking, well, I'd rather spend that time offering Reiki. I'd rather spend that time, doing the fun things in my Reiki business. Yes, I can understand that. And I think that showing up with our own energy in our own writing is important. And so what I believe is that even if you're not spitting out a lot of writing, so you're not going for quantity, but rather going for quality, that's what matters. So rather than having ChatGPT or Bard spit out a bunch of articles for you that you can post that really have none of you in them, then that is actually less of a good use of your time than writing one article that is heartfelt and you and your voice, your experiences. And so if you can spend the time writing one article on your own versus have ChatGPT spit 10 out for you that are generic, sometimes quite frankly dull, um, and impersonal, then I think that you're going to be I think that you're going to be using your time better if you write that one article, that one good, solid article about your own experiences, your own thoughts, your own tips and tricks from your own life. And so I do just want to mention that. I'll say more about that in a minute, but first I want to get to my use of ChatGPT. So I got frustrated with Bard. By the way, I did have Bard do some things for me and summarize some things. So then what I did was I took the transcript, because of course I have access to my YouTube transcripts, copied it and pasted it and said, okay, Bard, without bringing in any outside information, so don't add anything to this, please summarize this text in paragraph form. And Bard just gave me a bunch of bullet points, brought in some ideas. They were good ideas, but they were not mine. I thought, that's a good idea, but that's not in the video, or at least I don't remember that it was in the video. And so I thought, this isn't what I want. I don't want outside stuff coming in to my text. I just want you to be using the text that I'm supplying you with and not going outside and searching other resources for it. So then I used ChatGPT. I broke down and gave them my phone number. And tried the same tasks with ChatGPT. And I will say that ChatGPT did a better job of sticking with my own information, my own text, my own stuff. And of course, ChatGPT cannot pull from a YouTube video and can't do that kind of advanced thing that Bard can. But what I found in my experience was that generally ChatGPT it does a better job of asking for what you need. I did also ask Bard to write code for something on my website, and it did spit that out at me. It also wasn't exactly what I wanted, so I kept asking it, no, Bard, can you change this? Can you change this? Can you change this? And it was able to eventually give me exactly what I needed. So that is actually really cool that these programs can write code for you as well. You just say, hey, I need this for my website. Can you write a code for it? And it can oftentimes spit that out. Whether or not it's going to work on the first try is another thing. But so I did find that ChatGPT does work better. And I'll also say that, after my initial trying them out and seeing what it was all about, I haven't really used them much at all. I have actually so much content in my Reiki business that I don't need some artificial intelligence to generate content for me. Nor, frankly, do I want that. I want to be generating my own content for all of the reasons that I listed previously. But I don't need any artificial intelligence to generate content for me. And I do not then really use it much in my Reiki business now, nor do I envision that I will. But it is great for things like idea generation. And so let's say that you want to know, okay, what are some ways that I can market my Reiki business? You can throw in some information and you will get some ideas. So it's great for idea generation. It is great for brainstorming. It is great as a starting point. But here's the thing with taking Chat GPT or Bard or Jasper or any other writing. Jasper, by the way, is specifically for copywriting. So I haven't used it. It's a paid service. And if I'm hardly using free Bard and Chat GPT, why would I pay for a service like Jasper when I write all of my own stuff? And I prefer that. But the thing is that if you take what ChatGPT spits out for you. So let's say that you say to ChatGPT, write me a 500-word article on the benefits of Reiki. It spits it out for you, and you copy and paste that onto your website. Well, as a matter of fact, Google doesn't like that. So Google actually will downgrade your website if it finds a lot of AI generated content on it. So Google favors original content over AI generated content. And so what that means is that if you use ChatGPT to spit out a bunch of articles for you and post them on your website, hoping that you're going to boost your SEO, it's actually going to have a negative impact on your ranking. So just be aware of that. I will also say that there are actually also services out there that will take AI generated content and make it sound like it isn't AI generated content in order to pass AI tests. So yes, there are programs that will give a range of whether or not this content is AI generated. And so you can feed, for instance, a blog post into it, and it will spit out, okay, this content is, like 70% AI. And what that 70% means is that the program is 70% sure that this content is AI generated. So there are all kinds of tools like that. And then there are tools to rewrite the AI content so that it passes AI filter tests like that. Well, once you run your article, your AI generated article through all of that and took the time to do that, you might as well have just written a few things yourself. At least that's my opinion. So I'm not saying don't use AI for your Reiki business. It's a tool, and it really depends upon how we use it. And yes, I do believe that it can benefit your Reiki business. At the same time, I think that if you are envisioning using it as a way to replace the you in your Reiki business with the writing, I don't think that's the best use of the tool, because then who is replacing you in the Reiki sessions? If you are the one who is putting your name on the content that you are quote unquote writing on your website and showing up in a way that says, this is me, although I didn't write a word of this, how are you showing up in your Reiki sessions? How are you showing up with clients? And are you going to want to have some other form of artificial intelligence take care of that aspect of the business for you as well? In our Reiki business, we're good at some things, we're not good at others. And yes, indeed, we can outsource things. And that can be very helpful. But I think that if we post an article on our website and put our own name to it, then we indeed want to be showing up authentically in that way and in our sessions as well. If you're not showing up authentically on your website blog, then are you showing up authentically in your sessions? And I think that's simply a question that we all have to ask ourselves and for our own Reiki business. And so I just want to encourage that. I also want to share with you just a couple of examples of some things that AI did send to me as things that I could use to market. So I was very curious. Okay, Bard, write me an email to promote the Build Your Reiki Business program. So I told Bard about the program, and this is what it spit out to me. Subject line: Are you ready to start your Reiki business? Hi. Recipient name: Do you dream of starting your own Reiki business, of ditching the 9 to 5 and being your own boss, of helping others with Reiki and making a difference in the world? If so, I have great news for you. I've created a program that will show you how to start your own Reiki business from the ground up. And then it goes on to say it's called Build Your Reiki Business. And, you know, is this terrible? No, it's not terrible. It's actually not as bad as I expected. Could I do better? Yes, I could. And if I couldn't, is this a good starting point? Yes, it is. But is it the best ending point? No, it's not, because we can do better. Because what this doesn't do is bring heart. And what this doesn't do is bring soul. And what this definitely doesn't do, everyone, is bring Reiki. There's no Reiki in this. And so we're bringing the Reiki to our Reiki business. So yes, we can use these tools to help us. We can use these tools to get us started and to supplement our own stuff that we're putting out. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have our heart, it doesn't have our soul, and it doesn't have Reiki. We can bring the heart and the soul, just like we bring the heart and the soul to our sessions, just like we bring the heart and the soul to our work with clients. And so let's bring it to our writing and to our use of AI tools as well. As always, you can get the free Reiki Biz Kit at standingstoneshealing.com/Reiki Biz Kit. And of course, as always, you can check out the Build Your Reiki Business program at standingstoneshealing.com/build. Yes, I wrote everything on that website myself. No help from Bard or ChatGPT at all. So I'm sending so many blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business and to AI for your Reiki business, no matter how you choose to use it or not use it. Thanks for tuning in to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend. Learn more about the Build Your Reiki Business program at standingstoneshealing.com/build, sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business.